Good day and welcome back. Today we are going to continue work on our scenario, our play-by-email scenario. As you recall, last time, part 1, we developed this map that we will be using for our scenario. And today we're going to work on developing the OOB. And we'll do that by using the organizational editor. So let's just load it up. Minimize this, we don't need that anymore. There we go. This is the organizational editor for the Campaign Series Vietnam game. You'll see that it covers the dates from 1948 all the way up to 1967. There are a number of countries that have fairly comprehensive organizations within. As you can see, through even locations, and that'll vary depending on the type of year that you enter in. I think for our scenario, we're going to have it so that it's 1958, and we are going to fight the Americans against the French for no particular reason, but you know, they have roughly the same style of equipment, and it could be an interesting little battle if we do that. So let's find a battle group, or no, let's use an infantry battalion. Let's do that. What do we have? Armored infantry. How about, that's armored artillery, armored rifle, and M59s. Alright, let's do that. Let's use the Armored Rifle Battalion as a base. And that has 4 infantry companies. Maybe there's a later one. Let's see. Is there a later one? Mechanized infantry. Yeah, let's do that. So let's grab that. And let's grab the M59s with mechanized infantry. And they're later. They're 1956. So they're a higher quality organization. That's fine. We'll use B-class units, and each of these companies consists of 3 rifle platoons plus some 81mm mortars, and they all are transported with M59 tracked vehicles. That's perfect. But let's go into the company section, and let's grab some tanks. Let's go down. This was 1956. Let's look in the 1956 section. And do we have any tanks? No, we don't. So let's go back up. And we are going to add a regular tank company of M47s. So what I did is I selected it and pressed this button to move it over into this section. And here I'm going to add it underneath and bring it up here. So now this tank company is going to be tasked, or not tasked, be assigned to these battalion headquarters. Let's change that. U.S. Task Force. This is the leader name. So I'm just going to call that Task Force Leader, and let's change the stats on that. We can do that by clicking the C3 button. Right now it has a command value of 1. Let's give it a command value of 3. So that's a half decent sized leader. Let's give everyone in the organization a morale. Right now it's set to 6, I think is the default. Yeah, 6, that's what this number here means. But if we select the entire unit, press that morale dialog, change it to 7. It should have changed everything to 7. Yeah, so that's what it did. And you can see that now, even though they're B-class units, they have a little bit higher morale than the standard. What other kind of goodies do we want to add to this? So we've added a tank company. Let's give it some artillery. How about a battery of no, those aren't self-propelled. Do we have self-propelled guns? We do. We have a battery of 155s. Let's add those into there. So this has 4 infantry companies. No, we don't have to use all these units when we place them. We're just getting a variety of units to keep nearby, and then we can use them in the future. We have a tank company. How about maybe some reconnaissance? Do we have any reconnaissance? Maybe a cavalry company. And we can use elements of this. So this is a reconnaissance company that has M59s and some light tanks as well. So let's add that to our organization as well. I'm going to pull that over, grab that up, put it in. So that's all the Americans. I want to add one more leader, because right now these don't have any leaders, but I'm going to add a leader. So I'm going to the platoons. I'm going to scroll down to find the leaders. And these are the army leaders. These are motorized. These are not. Let's grab a Commander 2, who's a foot leader, and we're going to make him the A Company leader. Change his name to A Company leader. Don't need to put leader in there, but just to get the point across. So he came in as a Commander 2 level, and I think that's fine. We'll leave him as 2. We can change that to anywhere from 1 to 5. And the morale, it comes in at 6, but we're going to give this guy, he's a really high morale, so we're going to change him to 8. So that way, when he's stacked with any of the units that are beneath him, that'll improve their morale from 7 to 8. It will need some vehicles. Let's give it a Jeep. That was a Command 2, so it needs a quarter ton truck that has at least a strength point of 2, which this one does. So yeah, this is not an armored vehicle, keep that in mind, but it will be able to transport the leader. Let's save this. We're going to use the exact same name that we saved the map under, which is this. This is a play by email set. Before we make the scenario, I'm going to change the date so that it reflects the date that we're using here. So actually, let's do that here right now. Let's change this to 58. Sorry. We're using the 58 structure, even though these are 56 units. And we're going to change this to June, which is 6, and we'll just leave it as 31. So let's save that. Perfect. File save. Now I am going to go to the folder and check it out. Now you notice that we changed this, so let's close the map editor. And we're going to change it, the map, the dot map, to be the same name. This will be important. Okay, perfect. So we have the Americans, and let's give them some helicopters. Just nothing fancy. What do we have? Do we have anything that's useful? Do we have anything that's useful? Not so much. I'm still looking. Taking a look. We have some reconnaissance helicopters. Let's do that. Let's add some reconnaissance helicopters. How about some Ravens? Let's add them. So this will give the both sides eyes in the sky to take a look around while they're conducting their operations. Oh, and let's give them some engineers too. And you know what? We're not going to make them armored engineers. They're just going to be motorized engineers. Okay, there we go. So we have a fairly decent task force here. We have infantry companies that are mechanized. We have a motorized infantry company. We have a tank company. We have a cavalry unit, as well as artillery and observation. Perfect. That is good enough. That's what we will use for the Americans. Now, the French, we will look for something similar, because we are doing a play-by-email scenario, so we want to have something that's relatively the same. We want a mechanized infantry battalion, which is this. Now, they don't have proper APCs, but they do have half-tracks. That should be fine. And we're going to choose the B-class unit just so that they're the same. That'll be our core unit. It's an armored infantry battalion. We will add a leader there, just for consistency. Commander, is this one motorized? No. So we'll add a commander 3, and we'll pull that up. French leader, or task force leader. We'll just call it leader, because task force is pretty large. Oh, we can go TF for task force. And we change this to the same task force leader. Perfect. We will change the morale for this all the way up to, oh, it defaults as 7, so that's good. Everyone is 7, everyone is happy there. We only have 3 rifle companies that are armored, so we'll keep that in mind for when we build our scenario. We're all going to use 3 of these up here. I will add another company commander up here and put that in the first company. First company. Perfect. And we will also give them some jeeps, to be fair. Jeeps 2. There we go. And we'll pull them up into that same company. So there we go. We have a leader, and we'll give them the same morale as 8 as the other ones. And we're good. There we go. So that element is done. Now we need tank company. Let's grab a tank company. And we'll see if they have M47s, which they do. Do they have any other M47s? They do. There we go. Let's grab that. Put that in here. The tank squadron, M47, looks like it has not as many. There's 13 tanks, and the Americans have, I think it's 15 tanks. 15, 16, 17 tanks. So what I'll probably do in this scenario is reduce these. So we'll have it the same. Whatever these are in the field, we'll change it for the, maybe not. These are 5 strength points each. These are 3, but there's additional platoon. So actually, you know, we'll just leave them all on there and see what happens. All right. Now, we need a reconnaissance, and you can see we have a wide variety of different types of reconnaissance. We have M24s with M8 scout cars, or we have M8 scout. Let's go for one of the fancier ones. Let's do one of these. So we have 3 M24s, we have 3 M8s, we have some more half-tracks, we have armored jeeps with machine guns, and we have mortars. What's in here? So they have M41s, M59s. So quite similar, but not the same. That's okay. So let's take one of these, bring that in there, add it to our list of goodies. We also want some engineers. What do we have? What do we have for engineers? Reconnaissance. Oh, look at that. We have EBR 75 armored cars. Oh, let's scrap this. Let's scrap that, and let's add this reconnaissance unit, because that'll balance out the extra tanks that the Americans have. Whoa, that's awesome. Look at that. Okay. What do we have here? We have some additional armored heavy weapons, but we need some engineers. Engineers. What's this? Rifle platoons. Reconnaissance. Parachutists. Don't we have any engineers? Come on. Oh, there we go. Engineers and trucks. Okay, let's grab our engineers. Pull them over. So supplies. The supplies are going to be important. We have supply trucks with armored escorts. Here we have supply trucks with some armored escorts. Okay, that's good. I think... Oh, helicopter. They have a squadron of OH-23s. What do we have? What do we have in the French? We have Alouettes, observations. Let's use those. We're not going to use any transport helicopters. We're just going to use reconnaissance. Keep the battle on the ground. I think that's the idea. So there's multiple ones in here, but we're not going to use them all. We'll only use a couple. We'll give both sides 2 helicopters. We will also maybe offer some anti-aircraft to keep near the airfields. So let's do that for both sides. So there's some anti-aircraft, and then the French will need, or the Americans will need some anti-aircraft again. So basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give both sides the same type of units. That way it'll be a meeting engagement scenario, the first one, and, you know, they should have roughly the same type of equipment. Will be interesting to see how that plays out. Anti-aircraft. 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 Gun battery. We don't have 40 millimeters, but we have automatic weapons. Let's use this one for the Americans. Alright, there we go. There's a whole bunch of goodies. That's a wide variety of goodies for both, except I do need artillery for the French. Do we have a self-propelled battery like we gave to the Americans? We do. Oh no, that's a mortar battery. We don't have... Oh, we do. M7s. What are these? M40s. So the Americans will have an advantage. 4 guns. Okay, so what we'll do is, to be fair, let's give the... I don't think there's 155s. Let me just double check, because if they have 155s, then we'll just use those. That's fine. Let me scroll up. 105s. No. Okay, so yeah, we'll have to do some improvisation. Let's use the 105s, self-propelled 105s, and let's use a truck mobile battery of 120 millimeter mortars. There. That, while not the same, it will balance things out a little bit. At least we'll try anyways. Let's save that. Okay. We do have our good forces here. That will be that, I think. That's a good start for our scenario. As we build the scenario, we might find that we need something else, and if that's the case, we can come back in and edit this. But I think what we have is good, so we'll stick with that. All right. Stay tuned next time for me putting all this using the map and the org editor in the scenario editor, and we'll see if we can come up with a half-decent scenario to play. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, you can leave them down below, or you can go to the Matrix forums. Muchly appreciated too if you did that, because then we can answer your questions in detail. Yeah, take care. Smile always. Talk to you soon.